Now that we have built this small piece of functionality, we can work on getting quotes from different websites. So back to our flight service class, we have the getQuote method. Now let's add a method called getQuotes. So public, what should be the return type of this method? We want to return a list of completable future of quote. So list of completable future of quote. Let's import the list class. Now we call this getQuote. Now this method should have the knowledge of the websites we want to query. So let's store them in a list of strings. Here I'm going to use list of and pass site 1, site 2, and site 3. Now, for each site, we should get a quote. There are two ways to do this. One way is to create a list of completable future of quote, then iterate over these sites, get each site for each site, call the getQuote method, and then add the result to our list. But there is a better way. We can use functional programming techniques. We can use the streams API. So we're going to get a stream from this list and then map each object or each string to a completable future of quote. So we get the site, and here we call getQuote with that site. Now, this Lambda expression is simply calling a method, so we can convert it to a method reference. That's better. Now, what is the return type of this map method? Take a look. X, we press F1 here. So this returns a stream of completable future. So earlier we talked about intermediate and terminal operations in streams. The map method is not going to execute anything. It's just going to build a pipeline. It's going to build a recipe for us. So eventually we need to collect the results into a list object. So here we call collect and pass collectors.toList. So this will return a list of completable futures, and then we'll return it from this method. Now, let's test our new method. So we go to our demo class. Instead of calling the getQuote method, we're going to call getQuotes. Now this returns a list of completable futures. For each future, we need to consume it and print its result, which is the quote object. So once again, we can use the streams API here. We convert this list to a stream, and then we use the map method. So here we should pass a function that takes a completable future of quote and returns something else. So we're going to take a future object and then call then accept. Then here we need to pass a consumer of quote. So this is where we get the quote object and print it on a terminal. So once again, we can use a method reference, quote, :toString. Now, once again, we're building a processing pipeline, so nothing is going to happen until we use a terminal operation. So here we can call collect and then collect the result into a list. Now, there is something redundant here. In our flight service, after we call the map method, we get a stream. We get that stream and then collect the result into a list. Now, in our demo class, once again, we get that list and convert it back to a stream. This is unnecessary. So in this method, we don't really need to collect the result into a list. Let's delete this line. Now we should return a stream of, let's import this, a stream of completable future of quote, okay? Now we don't need this import statement either. Good. So our method is cleaner. We can even put this on the same line. Nice. Now back to our demo class. We don't need to call the stream method anymore. So we get the quotes. This will give us a stream of future objects. For each future object, we'll accept the result and print the code. Now, actually, I made a mistake here. Instead of calling quote.toString, we should call the printLine method. So we should pass this quote object that we get to the printLine method. So system.out, :printLine. Now, let's run our program and see what happens. So we're querying all these websites at the same time. After 3 seconds, they all respond. Beautiful.